Hey guys, I'm Gamer back here for that video. Guys, today we're gonna be talking about a really key MUT tip when it comes to sniping. You want to go ahead and make sure you know. So starting off right away, it's easy to snipe when cards are plentiful in the auction house. So for example, whatever the bundle topper ends up being, so let's say for example this bundle topper right here, which is 1282 plus overall all Madden players. So right now we know that most likely the auction house will be flooded with a lot of these players because there'll be a lot of people open up these bundles or just pull the training packs right here. So because we know that, we automatically can consume that when we are going ahead and sniping those cards, we are seeing pretty much all the cards, like the cards are so flooded that we are not seeing the newest card up. Well, sometimes when you're sniping, this happens at late at night. Sometimes it happens in general when a card just isn't posted that much. We go ahead and just go to 88, 89. This would be a good example of this. So let's go ahead and go to tight end Mark Andrews. Okay, I saw him the other day for this type of concept, and it's a really good thing to look at. So let's go ahead and sort it by Ravens, right? And we're going to sort it by exactly this. So as you guys can see, he's not flooded, right? There isn't 100 Mark Andrews on the auction house. There is a total of, what is this? 10, right? So there's 10 up currently. By the way, 100 can be posted before you don't see the rest. So if 100 is posted, then that means there's more than 100 posted actually. But you'll see them as time goes on. So now that we know that there's 10 posted here, this is when sniping becomes a little bit more challenging, and you want to really make sure you're checking your sources before you go ahead and buy a card. So for example, it's 178,000 coins, 180,000, 207, 219, 224, and 225. So these are all different price tags, range from 170 all the way up to 225. So a lot of times what happens is there is no set price on certain cards. So cards will sell, and you'll see this on MUThead or MUT.gg, where cards will sell at crazy pricing during certain parts of the day. So at nighttime, this Mark Andrews, for example, could sell for 200,000 coins, and then during the day he might sell for 178. So a lot of time what ends up happening is you might see there might be like, let's say there's only 4 of these Mark Andrews up, and this card might be posted for 250,000 coins, and then he gets posted for 210, and you're like, oh my, that's a 10 15k profit right there. Buy that card and relist it and sell it. And then what ends up happening is he doesn't sell, and then the next day you're like, okay, let me try something again. Now he's 170, and now you lost 40k. Guys, it's a simple thing that happens to everybody. You gotta make sure you're checking your sources on how much the card goes for. The cool thing about MUT this year, and then actually last year they implemented this, by going and click on a card, actually not this card, but you can check MUThead on MUT.gg. But when you actually buy the card, you can see exactly what the median price is, how much that card is selling for. You can also see the last 3 transactions of this card. What you can't see for this card, you can actually see his max value is 975,000 coins, which doesn't really help us out too much. The recommendation would be using MUThead or MUT.gg. This is only exclusive to cards, obviously, that are not as plentiful in the auction house. As time goes on, for example, there will be 100, 200 Mark Andrews posted. Things will change, right? For right now, though, this is a good example for this card. And again, like I said, it's not to deter you from sniping high overall cards. Obviously, you can still snipe high overall cards. Like, for example, Josh Allen right here, the Buffalo Bills quarterback. He's 300,000 coins, and as you guys can see, all the way up to 450k right here. It's not to deter you from sniping. It's just to make sure, you know, especially with these high overall price cards, because these cards, you make a mistake and you're going to be losing 30,000 coins. You have the small overall price cards, and let's say you make a mistake, you might lose 300 coins. You're walking away. You're like, all right, whatever. I took the L. If you make a mistake here, let's say, for example, let's say he sells for 300,000 coins, right? 331 is the cheapest one up. If, for example, actually, let's say, for example, that is the cheapest one up. Let's say all these are gone, right? And it's just these 3 cards: 406, 447, and 450. If this card sells for 300,000 coins, and guys who do know Mutt.gg, Mutthead, all the resources, they're going to start selling that card for 300,000 coins, right? Because that's how much it goes for. So even though these 3 cards are up, someone might try to, you know, finesse you and say, you know what? I'll put my card up for 385, right? Oh no, 370. So it's actually a deal. It's like, well, actually, let's say 355, because then you're gonna make a 10-15k profit off. Once you end up selling that card, you're gonna lose 80,000 coins. So guys, like I said, it's very risky. I've said many times about sniping over high overall cards. I recommend just absolutely skipping over it. The odds and the rate you get high overall snipes at is really low, and it's usually just not worth it to go ahead and even try or attempt to snipe cards at this value. I would always recommend sniping low overall cards just because of consistent value. I mean, I say it like this: in 1 hour period, right, 60-minute period, you're probably going to be able to get a low overall snipes, maybe 60 to 100 snipes. I mean, if you're really killing it, most likely the average person would get 25 to 30 snipes in an hour. Around every 2 minutes, you get a snipe at low overall cost. That means like 82, 83s, 83, 84s, 80 to 81s. Now, if you're trying to strictly snipe the high overall cards, you might get one big boy snipe that's a plus 20, 30k, maybe every couple hours. If you're lucky, maybe every 3 hours, 4 hours. You might get 3 in a day, while you could get, you know, 180 5k snipes in a day and make almost $1 million. Don't go for the high overall snipes. But if you are, because again, like I said before, you know, if you're playing Mutt and you're an actual Mutt fan, Mutt player, you can't avoid the high overall cards every single time. And like I said before, you know, let's say, for example, you're just buying a card like Randy Moss, for example. I picked him up for a video. If you pick him up for a video, you're picking him up just to have him on your team. See how he plays. You like him, don't like him. Just make sure you check the price tag, because you might be getting finessed. And sometimes, that's why I always say this, sometimes it's better to go with the sets. It's not always cheaper to complete a set than it is to buy a card off the auction house. Usually it's cheaper to buy the card at the auction house, especially if the set gives you cards back. But sometimes it is cheaper to go through the sets, because sometimes the auction house, the prices are way jacked up for no reason. And the less of a card that is being posted, the more jacked up that price usually ends up being. So we see this all the time with and I don't know if there's any posted here. Let's see if there's any rookie premier cards posted, because rookie premier cards is a great example of this, where you will see, and it will honestly become to a point where it just looks stupid and funny at the same time, how the pricing of cards work. I mean, let's see, we got rookie premieres. Okay, so we got 100,000 coins for rookie premier cards, but sometimes you'll see like a rookie premier card. You might see, like, for example, Jahan Dotson here. There might be one posted for 200k, 350, 750, and you're like, what's the price tag of this card? What should I buy it at? Check out what the recent sales of that card, what's the card selling for, because I guarantee you his price tag is probably 100,000 coins. And there's three, you might buy one, not worth it. So just, again, like I said, take your time, really research everything out when it comes to higher overall cards you're buying for your team. Make smart decisions. If you're trying to snipe them, probably avoid it. But if you can't avoid it, just make sure you check out the recent sales, because it's a trick a lot of people fall for, and they end up going ahead and losing coins. And especially a lot of new Madden players, they end up going ahead and doing it, and then they end up going ahead and taking the L. And at the end of the day, it's all fun and games, but when you lose 50, 80,000 coins because you took the L, it's almost to a point where some people might just quit Madden. Just quit the year and be like, you know what, I'm done. I lost 80,000 coins. I'm not doing this anymore. So just avoid the issue ahead of time. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.